Yo, we got Slappy, run him over with the caddy. You know I'm not his daddy. You know I'm not his daddy. You know the main actress that plays in Slappy episode, she a baddie. She grew up to be a baddie. Yo, 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 this book is actually good. It wasn't crappy. It wasn't crappy. About time that Slappy got a good book. About time that Slappy got a good book. Shit was not overrated. This shit was actually baited. I can't even rhyme. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm dancing. I'm dancing. I'm dancing. I'm dancing. Is this what you want the review to be? Hopefully not. All right, so this book is good. This book is good. This book is excellent. All right, I'm talking about Night of the Living Dummy 2, which is a significant improvement from, I'm out of breath, y'all. That dance took a lot out of me. Let me catch my breath. All right, this book is amazing. It's in my A tier. I gave it a 9.2 or 9.3 out of 10. This book is awesome. All right, that's all I have to say. Night of the Living Dummy 2 is my favorite Slappy book that I've read so far. I've read several, and this is my favorite, y'all. This is my favorite. I think that this book is what Night of the Living Dummy 1 should have been. I think this book should have replaced that, because instead of the whole, in Night of the Living Dummy 1, Slappy's not exactly like the main villain, right? You got, let's just say, multiple villains. He's not the focus. In fact, he's not even that important to the book. In this one, he's the main villain, and in this one, it's my favorite type of Slappy, right? It's not the whole, yo mama's so fat. Like, it's not that type of Slappy. It's the whole mind trick Slappy. The manipulator Slappy. The one that plays with your feelings. The one that plays with identity theft and tricking people and manipulating people and isolating kids. It's that kind of Slappy. And that's my favorite one. That's like a true villain right there. And it's efficient. And in this book, not only do you get a very effective Slappy in terms of a villain, but you also get very good characters. Sarah, I think that's, no, not Sarah. Amy, my bad. Yeah, Sarah's all right. Amy is one of the best protagonists that I've seen, right? She goes through this whole dilemma throughout the book, and it builds. She goes on this whole, thing involving Slappy. Her parents think that she's going crazy. They think she needs therapy and psychiatric help, and it's all a part of Slappy's plan. You see her breakdown. You see, the points of her life where she's jealous of her siblings. She feels alone. She feels guilty for a lot of stuff that's completely out of her control. And it ends off with a very intense climax, a very wholesome climax. You get some of the best sibling interactions in the climax, and then you get an ending, which pretty much puts a nice red bow on the package of this story and wraps it up extremely well. So without further ado, let's talk about Night of the Living Dummy 2, all right? So in this book, Night of the Living Dummy 2, what is it about? So Amy, Sarah, and Jet are 3 siblings that in the Kramer house basically go through a talent show, right? The Kramer family hosts a talent show in their living rooms, I think every week, where they basically show off their talents. They're very proud of it. It's sort of kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's pretty weird that the parents have this talent show, and then they're like, yeah, look at our kids. They're so good. They can tie their shoes. It's a bit weird. That's that weird stuff right there. That weird family dynamic right there. But, I guess it's wholesome, whatever. So they basically have this talent show where they have all the kids show off their talents, and you basically got the dynamic set up immediately where Sarah is the eldest daughter, and she basically is an amazing painter. She paints these masterpieces. She's Picasso out here, young Picasso, painting up beautiful stuff, right? Better than my fridge art, at least by a little bit. And they all love it. And apparently one of her paintings got into a local museum. So she's like the star child of the group, right? The eldest child, the star one, the one they all look up to, right? Then you have Amy. Amy is the main character of the book. She's that middle child where it sort of gets a little bit ignored, where she's not the youngest, not the oldest. I have a best friend who's a middle child, so I know the struggle that he went through. He used to hang out at his house all the time and saw it up front. So I kind of get that whole feeling, even though I'm an only child, my best friend was a middle child and I saw that stuff. So, you got that whole thing where she kind of feels like she's in the shadow of the other two. And she's a ventriloquist, right? She has a dummy named Dennis, and Dennis is an old dummy, kind of falling apart. When she tries performing with them, the head falls off, and she's like, I want a new one. I don't have a new one. I need a new one, right? And then you have Jed. Jed is the youngest, and he's sort of just a snot of a kid. He's annoying. Like during the talent show, he just like burps, and I wouldn't put it past him to start doing like arm farts and stuff. He's sort of just he's sort of just a bratty kid, right? Snotty. And what ends up happening is that in the beginning of the talent show, they're all showing off. Amy's using Dennis. Dennis falls apart. And then they return to their rooms. Talent show's over. And then basically one of Sarah's paintings that she was working on has this giant red smile on it. And turns out that Jed touched it, and the parents freak out, right? The parents are usually like, they're very lenient on letting Jed get away with a lot of stuff they shouldn't get up with. I mean, you know how I handle stuff, you know what I'm saying? Get to, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. But these guys, they're very lackluster. They let Jed kind of do whatever he wants. But this time he messed up, right? He painted on Sarah's prize paintings. And because of that red smiley face, he gets in trouble. They go off on him. Sarah loves it. Amy loves it. He kind of deserves it. But yeah, you kind of get that thing where like Sarah's the golden child. You got to look up to her. She's the prize talent, right? So they punish him harshly. And then basically Amy, I'm sorry, I'm messing up the names, y'all. I mix this up so much. Amy basically gets offered by one of her friends. Her friend owns a restaurant, and they like this like club area. And she's like, yo, if you want to come bring your ventriloquist dummy, I let you go and perform in front of these kids that are going to be coming up soon. So, Amy's like, all right, I want to do that, but my dummy's not in good condition. So let me think about it. Let me see if I can figure out something, right? And then she ends up getting a new ventriloquist dummy. Do you want to know who that new ventriloquist dummy is? It's a real tough guess. You'll never guess who it is. So obviously, Slappy appears. Her dad got Slappy. And then as they're looking at Slappy, checking him out, he magically reads the words, right? He reads the magic words. Karu, Mari, Udana. This is a Chipotle receipt. Probably should throw that away. He throws away, right? He takes out the paper, and then he reads it, obviously. And as Amy is looking at Slappy, she swears that he blinks, hinting he might be alive, right? And what ends up happening is that basically during one, I think afternoon, when the whole family was away, basically she has to borrow markers for a little project or something going on, and Jed's in the house. He's in his own room. And when they come back, Sarah and her parents come back, they see that Sarah's painting is basically all messed up, right? It's messed up. Like it's all dirty. It's got paint all over it. Whole thing is like ruined, and they freak out and they immediately blame Jed. And Jed's like, I didn't do it. I wasn't there. And he's like, but I did see Amy go in and grab markers from the room. So they immediately start targeting her. They're like, Amy, why would you do this? I also forgot that as soon as the dad read the words, he gets straight slapped. Like Slappy does what he does best. Slap, gets hit. So he thought Amy did it, but wasn't actually Amy. So this whole painting gets ruined, and they're freaking out. They're like, to try to get Amy in trouble, they think she's gone crazy. You also have another point where they have the talent show again, and in the talent show this time, she's up to bat, and she's going off and doing her ventriloquist act, and then Slappy just starts roasting the entire family, flaming all of them. They're just all hurt, and they all start going crazy and arguing amongst each other, and she just runs up to her room. She freaks out, and then you have another incident where her friend that offered her to go to the restaurant to perform, she gets there and she's performing, and you get this very tense, very horrifying scene where Slappy grabs onto the little birthday girl, and she's talking about how the little birthday girl, they're all like, I guess like her and her friend were talking about how they're all so cute, they're all dressed up. Birthday girl has a nice little dress on, she's so happy. They all love Slappy, and then Slappy grabs onto her finger and won't let go, and he's squeezing and squeezing harder, and she's screaming at the top of her lungs, and he won't let go. And Amy starts freaking out, her friend starts freaking out, the kids all start going into a panic, and she's like, he's hurting me, he won't let go, ah! And then the mom's like, what's going on? Let go of my daughter, what are you doing? And then it turns into a whole thing. Amy freaks out and leaves. She's so beating her, like she's beating herself up mentally, emotionally, internally. She's gone through a lot. And obviously the dad doesn't, the friend's dad doesn't blame her. She's like, oh, maybe Slappy malfunctioned or something. And she's just done. She puts away Slappy. And then you get the interaction with her and Slappy. And Slappy's basically manipulating her, right? He's doing all this stuff. And he basically tells her, he confronts her, he's like, Amy, you're going to be my slave. She's like, I'm not going to do that. What are you talking about? And he's like, yo, all this stuff that's happening, they blame you. They think that you're going psycho. Your mom even thinks you need psychiatric help. So if you don't be my slave, I'm going to continue doing this stuff. And you don't want that to happen, because what's going to happen is that they're going to think that you're fully nuts, and they're going to send you away to a medical ward, and you'll never see your family again for a long, long time. And he's like, so now I think you know what you're going to do. I think you know you're going to listen to me. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh damn. Slappy with the manipulation, Slappy with the S tier level 100 manipulation. This man's a demon. He's a menace to society, yo. He's out here setting up Amy for failure. He's preying on her downfall. He's got the Black Air Forces equipped. Oh, put away the toes. You gotta pay for that. He's got the Black Air Forces equipped, and he's just completely breaking her down. She is broken down. She's sick of Slappy. And obviously after that interaction, she's like, oh, I'm in a rough place right now. And then another thing happens, right? You get more disasters happening in the house. You get more paintings ruined. Everyone's freaking out. Like, you know what? That's it. You're gone crazy. We're going to get you a doctor. We got someone on the line. We got someone on the phone. They're going to talk to you. And then you get a very creepy climax. And in that climax, we do get a very heartfelt, emotional moment between Amy and Sarah, and it's very heartwarming. You kind of figure out that maybe not everything is as it seems. Maybe some people may know more than what we initially thought, and you have to basically figure out a way to catch Slappy in the act, and that's the big climax. And as the climax unfolds and you get this creepy scene, you get the heartfelt moment, you get this whole plan out, then you get this big reveal. That happens as to what this plan really was about. And something happens. You kind of freak out. You're like, what the heck? That may or may not deal with Slappy, taking care of Slappy. And then as they start describing the plan, you get to the ending of the book. And the ending of the book, basically them talking about the plan and being like, yo, it was a success. They talk about it. And then as they go and confront a certain somebody, you figure out that person may or may not have been involved in the plan. Most likely may not have been involved in the plan. And they think to themselves, so who was the one that did the thing? Gotta hit you with the rock face. That's the ending to this book. This book ends with the rock face, right? So I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to spoil you. It's a very amazing book. To get to my review aspect, keep it short and simple. This book is a 9.2 out of 10. This is in my A-ranked books. This is an amazing book. This is the best Slappy book that I've read so far. And my favorite Night of the Living Dummy one. I still have to read Night of the Living Dummy 3, but I think this book is what Night of the Living Dummy 1 should have been. It's fantastic. It's great. It's a great package. You get a huge character introspective with Amy. You see her break down. You see her kind of lose her mental sanity, her emotional sanity. You see how her family's breaking down, where basically Slappy is tearing the family apart. He's making her look guilty, and in turn she feels guilty for everything that's happening, even though it's not her fault. And the parents are looking at her like, this is our daughter. We love our daughter. We don't and they give Amy a lot of chances, right? They sit there and they give Amy so many chances where they're like, yo, we love you. We don't want to let you go, but you can't keep up this stuff. Like if you keep up this stuff, we have no choice than to send you away. So please talk to us. And that happens throughout the book. Throughout the book, you get these interactions between Amy and her parents where they're just like studying her, and she feels like she's an animal. She feels like they think that she's crazy, like they're looking at her like she's some kind of wild animal, and they're scared of her. She feels like an outsider. She feels isolated. She feels like she has no help. And they're just like, please talk to us. We want to talk to you. We want to figure out what's going on. We'll get you all the help you need. We're there for you. and it gets very emotional. It's like, yo, you feel bad for the main character. You're like, she's being torn apart, the family's being torn apart, and Slappy is S tier manipulating. He's got, no pun intended, the puppet strings. He's puppeteering this family, breaking them apart. And when you hear him tell Amy, like, yo, you're going to do what I say, because if not, I'm going to keep doing stuff and they're going to send you away to a medical ward. They'll never see your family again. So now that I present to you those options, what are you going to do? And you're like, damn, that is some great villain activity right there. That is some sinister activity. And I'm like, wow, this is the Slappy that I love. I love the manipulator Slappy. That's my favorite type of Slappy, right? Where I love the fact that he's not openly broken, right? I've read recent Slappy books where he's got like powers and he's like haunted and he can like, there's one Slappy birthday to you, he uses telekinesis. I'm like, all right, enough. In this book, he doesn't have powers, but he's just like pulling the strings at the right moment, using identity fraud and just taking care of business. And as an Indian, I know all about identity fraud, so I respect this man. That's an Indian tax scammer joke. You can't make that joke, but I can. And yeah, that's why I love this book. It's just a great package. That climax is creepy when you see it unfold. You get a reveal, you get this character bonding moment. You're like, it's hitting the heartstrings. And then you get the climax and you're like, damn, Stein actually did it. Stein actually did what you don't usually get in these books. And that ending, just ribbon on the top. If that ending leaves you with like a, is it good or bad? Like not like the quality, but like the situation. Like, are we done? Or is everything not as it seems? That's all I'll say. 9.2 out of 10. Can't praise this Slappy book more than enough. This is a longer review because this is a great book. It's got a lot of character stuff, a lot of character development, a lot of material to it. Please go read this book. This is my favorite Slappy book as of right now. That may change, but as far as I'm concerned, right now that's the case. And from when I'm talking to other people, they feel the same way, right? I feel like this is the perfect Slappy book. Go read it. It's a great package. All right, 9.2 out of 10, A ranked. I love this book. Good job to you, Stein. This is what I would put as the mascot to Slappy books and how Slappy formula is done well. That's it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Free way to support me. Listen, if you are a Chad and you don't want ventriloquist dummies in your closet coming out and ruining your life, go hit that subscribe button. If you want Amy to get redemption and you want her life to go back to normal, you should hit that like button down below. You should also comment down below your own thoughts and opinions. How do you feel about this book? How do you feel about Slappy in general? Is this your favorite version of Slappy? And what Slappy books are your favorites? Let me know all down below. And yeah, stay tuned for more content to come. That's all I have for today. Deuces. Yo, man. Manipulator Slappy, Black Air Forces. I gotta equip the Black Air Forces real quick, all right? But I don't know if the ventriloquist dummy ones will fit me. Never too late to try.